It's strange how things can fall apart. Live through days like a king. Then the walls cave in. The levee broke and left us dead. The cost of silence in my head. Pennies for cents and minutes for change. Nothing lost and nothing gained.
Part 5, Chapter 92. Noel lectures with a natural enthusiasm, and he found, through conversation with his peers, that his classes are relatively well attended. It's his last class before the holiday break, and he enjoys watching his students enter, kicking off the snow, shaking, slapping their gloves together. They came with effort. Every excuse to dismiss the class was available, and they came just the same. He reminds himself of this between each lecture. When I speak to 50 faces for an hour, I occupy 2+ days of collective time. Let me be worthy. Welcome, welcome, he says to each arriving student. They smile. Some greet him verbally, some by name. Most smile and appreciate his greeting, nothing more. He writes on the board, "Where?" Today's topic, ladies and gentlemen. Someone shouts, "Here! Glad you're here." Noel will always be grateful for engagement, whether it's strong, weak, sarcastic, or problematic, and in his gratitude, something of it always comes. He continues, "And where is here?" "Not there." "Touché," he smiles. "Class dismissed." The students laugh. It's the simplest and possibly most difficult question to answer. Noel begins in a new tone, and his students know that it's time to listen. Let's start with, he writes on the board and reads, "What?" He turns back to the class and continues, "This is shallow. It's an expression of assumptions of our physical world. It is simple, easy. It is either something, that which we assume, or it is not, and the answer is, I can't know." He turns again to the board and writes and reads, "Why?" can be answered within our realms of understanding and belief. It's personal, subjective, and open. That, or it is linear and logical. This will be challenged, he hopes, but not yet. Who is simple if we allow it to be, and not dissimilar to what? It either is as we know it, or it is not, in which case we know not. He continues, knowing challenges are brewing, and he is excited to hear them. When is most simply a product of our own constructed measures to track our existence. We either accept it or not, are aware or not, but the question itself is simple. He turns and raises an eyebrow to the class. "Drum roll, please." They don't disappoint, and the room rumbles. "And after this, I'll open discussion to you," he writes on the board once more. "Where is the most profound, unanswerable question, an endless ellipsis?" Dr. Thomas will be proud, and Noel will reference his work in this very lecture, especially "The Masks We Study, the World We Know." This and Jude's theory and findings are referenced heavily in the first draft of his book, with careful consideration that it is dismissed science. "Zoom out," Noel continues before the discussion ensues, "from any standpoint, belief system, or metric, and eventually the question where becomes extremely problematic." He sits on his desk, seeing eager faces and some hands in the air. "Have we heard the expression turtles all the way down?" Some nods. "These are the answers we come to when where is explored." He smiles. "Find me a better one." Noel doesn't speak for nearly 10 minutes, letting the class play ping pong with itself. This is wonderful. He hears ideas, debates, debunking, laughter, raised voices, slap tables, Big Bang, infinite space, God, expanding space, giant organisms, simulations. Simulations? Dreams? Professor, it hadn't been countered. Yes, Reggie. What if it's all a simulation? A dream of some sort? Noel cringes and softly asks, Where's the host? Where is the dreamer? Chatter continues, and after about 10 minutes, when he feels the chatter has effectively landed, from all perspectives, on turtles all the way down, he takes the wheel. There was a scientist who attempted to answer this question, though his question was meant to be measurable. Are there limits to our ability to zoom in, zoom out? It's our very question of where, with more math, more numbers, more chalkboards. He points a thumb back at his 4 big words, and the room laughs. What did he figure out? Someone asks unnecessarily. What did he figure out? Noel echoes and puts his hands in his pockets. Well, he was the most qualified man on earth to do the work. He pauses, and there's restlessness. And he discovered that science, he pauses again, can't answer the question. Disappointed groans. He continues, which is to say that math cannot answer the question of where. Religion? Someone suggests from the back row. Here we are, in philosophy of religion. It seems a fitting consideration. He moves to the other side of the room and points to a typically reluctant participant. Kendall, you are a theist, okay? He points to another student. Owen, you are an atheist. Try to construct an answer to where, within your given frameworks, and, he smiles, play defense. Go. Kendall, turning to Owen, this is all created by God. Owen, responding in turn, where is God? Kendall, in heaven. Owen, where is heaven? Kendall, I don't know, in some other dimension. Owen, so God isn't here? Kendall, God is everywhere. Owen, is there anywhere God is not? Kendall, no, he's everywhere. Owen, then there is no point of nothing because that would be a space without God. Kendall, no, it would not be a space at all. It would be nothing. Owen, so there's an end to the universe. Kendall, yes, God created the universe, and it's a perfect ball of everything. Owen, where is that ball? Kendall, the ball of everything? Owen, yes, the everything ball. Kendall, in God's palm. Owen pauses. Kendall smiles. Owen, so God is the other dimension? Kendall, yes, God is heaven, outside of the universe and present within it, in his palm. She likes this now. Owen, is God standing? Kendall, what? Owen, is he sitting? Kendall, he's just there. Owen, where? Kendall screams. Okay, smarty pants. Where is everything, Mr. Atheist? Owen, exactly where you see it. Kendall, zoom out. Owen, it gets bigger. Kendall, zoom out, smarty pants. Owen, the universe is pretty freaking big. Kendall, and how far can you zoom? Owen, until the end. Kendall, and then what? Owen, what? Kendall, where are we when we reach the end? Owen pauses. It's just the end of the universe. It's the Big Bang. It's the end. Kendall, reach for it. Owen, reach for it? Kendall, at the very, very, very end of everything, reach out your hand. Owen plays along, reaching his hand and miming an invisible wall. Kendall, do you reach through? Owen, no, it's nothing. Kendall, so there's a barrier that stops you at the perimeter of this everything ball? Owen, yes, the everything ball. Kendall, and what was overtaken when the universe expanded? Owen, nothing. Kendall, nothing became something? Owen, yes. Kendall, and you call yourself an atheist. There is quiet laughter, and there is uncertainty, until Noel interrupts. Let's hear it for our actors here. Rounds of applause. Owen stands and bows. Kendall covers her mouth and laughs. This is my new favorite phrase, by the way. Thank you for that. Noel smiles and returns to the chalkboard. everything ball. Well done, class. Your homework tonight is to create the best answer to where you can construct. Use what we've learned throughout the semester. This does not have to align with your beliefs. It does not have to be in line with existing theories, science, or current understandings. Be as creative as you can and let your mind wander. Write your thoughts as you go and do not erase. Make your path and keep your strikeouts. I'm not looking for conclusions. I'm looking for construction and deconstruction, induction, deduction. There are rumblings in the room of students starting early, and Noel reins them in. Let me take you through one man's story. It's only a story, but it's one that started with paths and strikeouts. Well-informed paths and strikeouts, I might add. Let this be an example and a reference should you want to read more about his questions and how he considered them. Noel tells Jude's story as best he can and as objectively as he can. It's fresh, but he can build walls. He can speak and remove and filter what's required to be appropriate and effective to his audience. We all can. It's what we do. We operate in systems. 4:00 p.m. The students prepare to enter the cold. Noel does the same. He and Claudia have a party to attend. Chapter 93. It's just fine. The ballroom is filled, and each face has a story, shared memories, colleagues, friends. Drinks are in hand, and music plays. There are tables along the banquet wall. They're filled with food and pre-poured champagne. The music is a steady and deliberate mix of Bob Dylan and the like. It's fine. It's just fine. Dr. Gloria Hume proposes a toast. A glass is clinked, and the party turns. Gloria turns to Franny and smiles. To our friend Frances, Franny. She welcomes the entire party, from all circles close and closer. I thought I beat you to retirement, but you jumped the gun. The party laughs. Most know that this was not her original intention. Some know why. Gloria smiles. I'll meet you on the beach next year. I'll keep an eye out for you, Franny chimes in. The party is smiling, Franny sees. Every face is glowing, and she catches Claudia's eye. Claudia beams and raises a glass as Gloria continues, somewhere else in her speech now. But we'll do our best. There are low rumblings of laughter. There was a joke somewhere in that last line. Franny looks up to Noel, who is tending to someone else's needs. They are happy, those two, and Franny admires what she can of their happiness. She hopes it can be the last thing she focuses on before she dies, their joy. So if you could raise your glasses, Gloria prompts, and the party is happy too. To our Franny, we love you and wish you the absolute best in your retirement. A chorus of cheers and a single delayed slancha. Knock, knock, Franny. I'll see you tonight. She made it to the finish line, and the beast is waiting. It was agreed. Let me have my career, my patience, and my responsibilities, and when it's done, you can have me. It waited. It's here. Franny feels it in her sagging cheeks. She feels it in the follicles of her hair, in the weight on her heels. She feels it in the jacket weighing on her shoulders. It's here. It's everywhere. Why not now? Find the balcony. Be the firework. End the show. And nothing comes in protest. This is the end. It seems like hours before Franny is able to make it through the crowd to Claudia. Well wishes. The bottle waits. We're going to miss you. Plug the tub. Some big shoes to fill. Spread your legs. Please come visit us. Fill your throat. A party, a pillage. It's all wonderful. It's all impossible. When Franny reaches Claudia, she is drained. Claudia hugs her fully and completely. Say goodbye, Frances. Noel is holding the baby and presents him to Franny. She takes him and admires him. In just 6 months, his features have already become so new, so defined. My God, he looks just like her. I know, Claudia agrees. Those eyes. Franny stares into them and sees Vera. Say goodbye. Baby Julian looks up and reaches for her face. The bottle waits. All the bottles. Shove a funnel down your throat and pop the cork. Nothing comes in protest. Let me. I did. You're mine. Franny begins to cry, and one tear falls on the baby's cheek. Julian blinks in response and giggles. Are you okay? Claudia asks. No. I know. She doesn't. Franny looks up. Her since disbanded support group knows her pain to a degree, but none other. She is Dr. Frances Fitzpatrick, and she is nobody. There are quiet rooms, padded walls. Burn the house down and hide your disgrace. They don't have to find you. Claudia hugs her again, and Noel embraces them both, the big bear. I'm so happy you have him. Franny chokes. It's all she can say. Noel? She meant baby Julian, Franny sees. Both of these big babies. Claudia is crying now. Me too. 5 months ago. It had been 2 weeks. Claudia and Noel entered the hospital with Franny, supporting one another and hearing whatever news might come. Lunch was okay. Franny had shown them a deli down the street, something about turkey and rye, though Claudia and Noel opted for hot subs. It was raining on their walk to the hospital, but it was brief and easy enough to endure. Gloria met them at the door and escorted them to Franny's office. The baby is great. Perfect, actually. Claudia held her chest in relief. There's no father on record. Gloria stopped. The sentence was incomplete by nature of the circumstance, and her inflection implied as much. The nameless boy, Franny thought. Immaculate conception, Claudia thought. Be okay, Noel thought. Let my girls be okay. We'll keep him under our care for the time being. Claudia, we'll talk more when you're back tomorrow. Gloria smiled. We'll figure this all out together, but for now, just know that he's okay. He's going to be just fine. Gloria left and held the door open for Nurse Cassie, who entered unexpectedly. Dr. Fitzpatrick? Franny, honey, Franny corrected. Can I speak with you? Franny welcomed her to speak. In the hallway? Does Gloria know this? Franny asked. Nobody knows this, Nurse Cassie affirmed. Franny thought, it's something she does well, in the right environment with proper company. Okay, Franny looked at Cassie. All we can do is share this with Claudia. Yeah. Franny opened the door to a waiting couple. Claudia, Franny called. They both looked up. Cassie has something to share with you. Cassie's hands were clasped in front of her scrubs. She looked mournful, a cheerleader after a loss. She told the story. She was there when Vera died. She saw what she saw, heard what she heard. And she asked for you, Cassie expanded. She wanted you. Franny nodded in encouragement. They were her last words. She said, baby, in your name. I think she was telling me she wants you to. Franny witnessed Cassie's pause. It's too much. To have her baby? Claudia finished. She was smiling and crying. Yes, Cassie confirmed. I think so. Claudia looked to Franny, who was silent in the delicate air. She would not have a hand on this steering wheel. It's too big. It's not hers. Franny? Claudia was standing and stunning, red in her cheeks and confidence in her eyes. I want this. I'll do whatever I have to. I want... Marry me. Noel interrupted. What? Sorry. He got down on one knee and wiped something from his eye. Claudia Kohler, will you marry me? Are you fucking serious? Noel looked at Franny and Cassie, who had their mouths covered. Yes, I am. Yes. Yes? Yes. Noel, athletic as he is, was clumsy and unsure of what to do with his hands. He had no ring. This was not planned. The proposal, at least. Claudia lifted him up, or motioned in ways that might imply lifting. Noel got himself to his feet, and her arms were on his shoulders. Tears can mean many things. Rooms can be many places. 4 walls containing a space of opportunity, a quality every space holds, opportunity. And outside those walls is more space, possibly defined, maybe not, and within it we find that which we create and share it with whom we travel. We are astronauts. How wonderful. Present. I'm happy, Franny. I know. And I'm happy for you, Claudia emphasizes. This is a great party. Sure is, Noel agrees, not intending to miss something to smile about. His tie is tight around his neck, and Claudia reaches to unbutton his top button, take a little red out of his neck. Franny sags. It feels like the end, she says in a moment of unexpected honesty. And with this end comes something new, Claudia hopes. She prompts and reaches. Franny is silent. There is a dark whistling in her head, and she can taste the night to come already. It's a preface, a dark, bitter grape on her tongue. It's a warning. It's a taste, just a taste, to remind her of how sweet it all is. Dominoes have fallen. There's nobody more to care for. It's just you and me, Franny. Fran? Noel interrupts. We were wondering if you would do us a great honor. Franny looks up. Say goodbye, Francis. Claudia is biting her lip, eager to hear Noel continue. Say goodbye. We wanted to ask you to be Julian's, if you'd be his godmother. Claudia interrupts and beams. Godmother? Franny asks. It's a question not for this couple, but for someone, something else, and there is no response. There is quiet. She says it again. Godmother. And it feels like a buoy in the oil ocean. Better yet, it feels as though she's been pulled to shore. She waits and hears nothing in return. She cries harder now, though the tears come from somewhere else. We communicate in many ways, for many reasons. Claudia cries with her. She looks down at baby Julian and kisses his nose. Hi, baby, she sputters in choked exultation. I'm your godmommy. God's new face, Noel interjects, and Claudia hits his arm. What? She smiles and looks down at baby Julian in his godmother's arms. You're lucky to have such a rockin' godmom, kid. He smiles at the sight of his mother beaming over him. 6 months is a wonderful age. Faces are clear and smiles are easy. Chapter 94. Julian is nearly 10 and plays on shores familiar to a story that preceded him. It was 9 years ago, almost to the day, when the Gregorys purchased Vera's home. It was an easy and uncontested acquisition, and they've made it their own. They sit on a towel as the summer sun sets somewhere behind them, pulling with it their day and forcing change. Julian's castle is nearly complete. There is a healthy moat and 3 towers. Water enters with the more aggressive waves, is diverted, and recedes. Julian is proud and carefully places rocks along the tower edges. We're going inside, honey. Julian turns and smiles to his mother. Come inside before it's too dark, Noel adds. I will, Julian shouts in good faith, but his parents know. He will wait for the stars, for at least the beginning of nighttime, when it fades in, and beyond that, if they allow it. Claudia holds Noel's hand in hers and holds her sandals as well. Sand falls slowly from them and disappears in perfect camouflage. Now again, they are part of a whole. They are not the sand on her shoes, but the beach itself, connected to the ocean, almost nothing, and almost everything. A few grains hold on to her sandals. They will be swept and discarded next to empty milk cartons and yogurt containers. They leave their towel for Julian. There is enough to do in front of open windows, dishes, cleaning the counter from dinner, many things, and their beachfront is in clear view. Let the boy explore. And brush your teeth, Noel instructs. I did. Well, pick out a book. I want to read about astronauts. Astronauts? Yeah, and time travelers. Time travelers, huh? Noel smiles. Yep. Julian is undeterred. I met an astronaut on the beach. What now? Noel's face changes. Yep. Said he was an astronaut. Noel is attentive and calls Claudia in. What is it? Claudia asks. Julian met a man on the beach, Noel says with a firm but subtle necessity. There was a man on the beach? Claudia asks, masking her motherly worry. An astronaut, Jude exclaims. Claudia looks at Noel and they exchange concern. I told him I want to be an astronaut one day. You spoke with him? Julian is attending to an array of books, unconcerned. Have you ever seen this man before? No. Did he tell you his name? Yes. What was his name? He said his name was Jude. Claudia's throat seizes. She leaves Julian's room in a hurry, and Noel remains with Julian. Did he say anything else? He just asked me a question and then left. Claudia runs to the window and looks out toward a darkened ocean. There is nobody there, or there is darkness, or both. What did he ask you? He said, "Is there anything new in the sky tonight?" Claudia returns with the book in hand, one written a decade prior. I have just the book for you, Julian. She shows him the cover. At least for tonight. We'll go see Miss Gianna tomorrow to see what else she might have for all your time-traveling needs. The Astronaut, Julian reads. The Astronaut, Claudia confirms through labored speech. Noel puts a hand on her shoulder. She will read this aloud, or better yet, she will hold the book and speak the story. Julian certainly doesn't need Vera's romance, her happy endings, her hope. She will modify and edit what she can, what she needs, to be effective and appropriate for her audience. It's what we all do. We connect and create what we can. We contribute and we continue until it ends. The end.
It might be over soon.
Afterward. This book was written by a guy named Eric Meslinsky. We don't know where Eric is today, on this today, the today in which you've reached the end of his book. Hopefully, he's still on Earth, somewhere with people he loves. That would be nice, ideal. That's a life he knows and would be happy to find himself still in. Depending on the time that's passed between the writing and the reading, depending on many things, I suppose, he might be somewhere else. Maybe that somewhere is timeless. Maybe it's somewhere that allows for connections or reconnections if Eric is someone you happened to know. Hopefully, he's not nowhere, although that's certainly a possibility. If he happens to be nowhere, which is to say, if he isn't, it might be said that you've helped to keep him alive in some sense by reading this book. Thank you. About the author, by the author. In my life, I've been so fortunate to have been surrounded by wonderful people whose company I enjoy completely. To Amy, Leah, Madeline, William, and Eleanor, I love you, and I hope this book outlives me in ways that are useful and constructive. A special thank you to the following people who so patiently, graciously, and generously read and supported this creative project. Lynn Meslinsky, Sherry Wagner, Al Meslinsky, Kelly Barnhart, Janice Janikova, and Donna Hoke. Thank you. Acknowledgements, all the song lyrics throughout this entire book. I need to probably put page numbers and all that stuff, but many, many song lyrics. Consider that the acknowledgement. About the author, in third person for no apparent reason, Eric has written for the Buffalo Spree, and his creative adventures include woodworking and music as well. Maybe some of his work is still available in some accessible formats for you to explore, depending on how much things have changed in the world since this book was published. In the time this book was written, Eric's music existed in all of the spaces you might get your music. Please see the printed copy of this if you're interested in that archive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go Bills.